We welcome Assemblywoman Kim Eulner to the show. She's here to talk about what's driving crime in her district. Literally, car thefts are up, so let's get to it. Catalytic converter thefts are on the rise in New Jersey, and pressure is growing for lawmakers to take action. Assemblywoman Kim Eulner, a Republican from the 11th District, which takes in parts of Monmouth County, has introduced a bill to do just that, potentially increasing the penalties for this type of theft. Assemblywoman, it is good to see you. Thank you for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you, Laura. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Well, we're hearing more and more in the news about car thefts being up, but this one is well, tell us a little bit about the bill that you're sponsoring and what's inspired it.
Okay, it's Bill A5058, and it's a bill upping the penalties for anyone caught stealing catalytic converters and or dealing with the elements that make up those converters. It's a very lucrative business. Over $545 million was earned by a group of people that were selling these in New Jersey.
Say that number again.
$545 million.
It's almost $500 million.
Yes.
This is a business. So people aren't just stealing cars. They're stealing the parts of the car that you can drive your car without, but it more or less it helps with the emissions, right? So is this? So what's going on? Why?
Well, a catalytic converter, if it's stolen, could earn the thief $500. So that's pretty good money if you're maybe under 18, maybe part of a gang. But then whenever that part is then purchased by someone else, it can be broken down. There's elements that make up the converter to help make the engines run and everything that happens. And those elements are worth more out of the catalytic converter than they are in it. Right, and then again, it translates into these huge business opportunities for those unsavory people, again, making over $545 million.
Right, and then just to give a little context, so last November, there was a bust of a multi-state theft ring that was being orchestrated. So can you talk a little bit about what happened, how it impacted not just your state, but all over the state of New Jersey?
Yes. So two counties, Monmouth County, which is who I represent, and Burlington County, there was 21 individuals arrested across 5 different states. There was this huge ring. So then it's a disadvantage to the car owner. In order to get a new catalytic converter installed, it could cost up to $7,000. And because these are getting stolen, there's a shortage. So that obviously brings up the price of replacing it. And you don't even know it's gone until you attempt to drive your car.
Right. What exactly are you trying to do? So people are fed up, they're tired. I know that we at the end of the year, we had the sheriff on, just talking about the frustration of bail reform and how car theft, it's a lucrative business. But can you specifically talk about what it is that you are trying to do? What can you do as a lawmaker representing that district?
Yes, definitely. So this bill, again, A5058, will increase the penalties for anyone getting caught or being arrested for this theft. So typically, second and third degree offenses have fines up to $150,000 and $15,000 respectively. So if this bill does pass, it will increase that. So again, the people will be jailed and then they will be fined as well. And that, we hope, will definitely be a reason to disincentivize people from wanting to do these thefts.
Now, what type of support are you getting from the other side of the aisle, from the governor's office? Are you getting support?
It's hard to say. We do have fellow Republicans who are wanting to co-sponsor or be part of this bill. And there are some people from the other side of the aisle that are inquiring about it. So I feel this situation or these thefts are affecting everybody. It doesn't matter what political party you are. So let's all work together. So I think this and the other auto theft bills that I'm either sponsoring or co-sponsoring does get some sort of work across the aisle done.
But it seems like it should be a no-brainer. Am I missing something? Why aren't both sides of the aisle working to try and put a stop to the thefts, and also if you are caught, increasing the penalties? It seems like a no-brainer, but it's not happening.
No, it's not. And I understand that there are people feeling that Bail reform was helping the people who might have gotten arrested for having, say, too many parking tickets. And that person may not have had the funds to pay bail, so they're stuck in jail. But these bills are focusing on the people that aren't those sort of innocent non-ticket payers, but the ones that are thieves and ruining our quality of life in Monmouth County and beyond. So we're just sort of focusing in on these types of crimes to help us all be able to go to sleep at night and know or hope that when we wake up, our cars will be there and or the catalytic converters will still be in the car.
Well, how are they getting? Are there tips that you've been trying to provide to your constituents to protect themselves while you're trying to work this out in the legislature? What you can do from that end?
Right. So obviously it's about being aware. So close your garage doors, lock your cars, take the key fobs out. If you do leave your key fob in your house, don't have it by the front door on the kitchen counter, because thieves are now entering homes, which is multiplying the scariness of all of this. So being wise, but we also have this great way of living, especially in Monmouth County. We never had to lock our doors growing up, even when my children were younger. But now you have to sort of batten down the hatches, because you never know who's going to be driving down, your street, whether it's a beautiful, big mansions cul-de-sac, or I live in a pretty populated, street in Beechwood, and it's happened on my street as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, crime doesn't respect area codes. It can happen anywhere. But is this happening more in people's own driveways? Is it happening at the grocery store, shopping malls? Like, where is it happening? How quick can these thieves get in and get what they need and get out?
It's pretty quick. And in my mind, it's still happening in people's driveways, because at night when you're sleeping, maybe all your lights are off, maybe the dog's sleeping, so they're not going to hear any sort of ruckus out in your driveway. I think it could be done at, say, a shopping center, but in my mind, that would be bringing more attention if you see someone climbing under your car. So I think it's more during the darkness of night that it's happening.
Yeah. And so, what have you had any constituents coming up to you, talking to you? Maybe waking up hearing noise. That God forbid could end tragically, more than just a theft. Like you hear something, your dog does bark, you go out to see what's going on, and what stories are you hearing?
Well, we've heard obviously some gentleman in northern New Jersey chased someone with a gun, so that's dangerous, because he could have shot himself, could have shot the thief, and it's just a matter of people breaking into homes to try to find the key fobs and more. So it's just, again, our quality of life is at danger. And that's all of New Jersey is beautiful. And of course, we're very proud of us here in Monmouth County that we have a beautiful place to live. It's very peaceful, but now it's scary. And we are working with our fellow legislators within the county and beyond, because this is affecting everyone throughout the state.
Yeah. When you ran for office, is this something that you thought you'd have to be dealing with?
No, it's kind of comical. I told my sons that I was going to be interviewed about catalytic converters, and they chuckled. They're like, what do you know about it? But being in the legislature, I have learned so much about what affects our constituents, our state, whether it's this, mental health, funding, just you name it. It's been such an education, and I'm honored to be in the legislature.
Well, and I think that's an important part of representing constituents is you go in and you want to look at quality of life. People are having a hard time paying bills. Taxes are expensive, so those are the traditional things. But then when you have an area where you're seeing this type of theft, to be able to shift and to pivot and not just talk about it, but actually say, all right, I've got a bill, and here's where I'm going to go. Here's what I'm going to do. That's
Exactly.
very important.
Exactly. And that's the thing. We're here to represent, and Marilyn Papernos, my fellow Assemblywoman here in LD11, we work to support and to work for everybody, whether they're Republicans, Democrats, Independents, you name it. We're here to represent everybody within our towns within Monmouth County.
So before I let you go, New Year is here underway. Aside from this, do you have any other legislative priorities or any other things that you'd like to see get accomplished this year or on your list of issues to attack?
Yes. So above and beyond this catalytic converter bill, we have about 13 other bills, whether we're sponsoring or co-sponsoring, related to car thefts. One of my main points away from that is mental health. School funding, the source of Red Bank Regional was going to be defunded. And fortunately, Governor Murphy heard us and he funded them for another year. But we're hopeful that this program and others throughout the state will be a regular part of the budget going forward. Mental health is affecting everybody, from young children to seniors our first responders, our military veterans, you name it. So that's very, very important as well this year.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about the mental health aspect is how it's really evolving. And now that students are back in school, it's been 2 years since we first were shutting things down, but we're still seeing the effects. My daughter's away in college, and people say, oh, well, this class, you all have all of these issues. Well, this class, they've got all of these issues. So we're starting to see some of the effects of the efforts that people had to take at the time, we had to take, but certainly some issues. Students have fallen behind. They may not have the support that they need, and trying to rebuild those connections is certainly hard.
Exactly. Yeah, we've had 2 years of learning loss, and it's really going to affect us all going down as we get beyond this. It's pretty scary, and we need to pay more attention to it and put more funding toward it as well. I attended the State of the State, which is always a great honor. And we pointed out, the governor pointed upstairs to all of his, the heads of all the committees, and he did not mention the head of the education committee, which I found it's more interesting what you don't say than what you say. So we do know that there's issues that we need to correct within our educational system.
Yeah, I think one of the first budgets I ever covered was when Christy Whitman was in office, and the majority of the budget went to education, because it's hard to explain a state budget, but that was one of the points, is the majority of it was going to education, even though so much is funded. But yeah, helping young people at the source to prevent them from getting in situations where they might feel helpless, disenfranchised, and going out and committing crimes. Exactly. I'm not saying that the teenagers are the ones doing this, but it all seems to work hand in hand.
It does, definitely. It's all connected.
Yeah. Well, Assemblywoman, we thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you. It's been an honor, as I said, and I welcome to speak with you in the future. And it's been wonderful, and have a wonderful day.
Oh, you too. We look forward to having you back with an update.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks. Have a good day.